You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube up, welcome back to another sneaker review. And for this sneaker review, we're going to do the Air Jordan 8 playoffs that came in 2023. Now, I know you may be saying, Adrian, why are you doing this? This isn't the Aquas. Well, since the Aquas come out next weekend, I wanted to kind of build the anticipation, and I wanted to just do this review before the Aquas that come out next weekend. These playoffs and the Aqua 8s, a lot of these came out in 2007, and that was the first time I really had a decent job to where I could buy my own shoes, because my mom and dad were not going to buy me $100 pair of shoes. If they were, it would only be one. And I know a lot of the younger generation, YNs, whatever you are, y'all may not know about this, but back in the day, my mom and dad used to take me and my brother the Champs, get the 2 for $89. So a lot of times you'll get 2 pair of shoes, 2 for me and 2 for my brother. We'll try to get different colors so we can swap. I don't know if you remember those Reebok classics. So a lot of the older heads like myself know what I'm talking about. The 2 for $89, that was the big thing we used to do before going to school. So my mom and dad weren't going to pay all these shoes. So when I see these playoffs coming out, the Aqua 8s coming out, it brought me back that feeling of when I first had a decent job to where I could buy my own pair of shoes, because my mom and dad, like I said, were not going to pay $100 for some shoes, and that would be the only one. And they definitely wasn't going to wait in line for them. Now, y'all know, before we even get into the history of this shoe, I'm going to go over the box. This is the box, as you can see, the basic Jordan 8 box. I think this box came in the 90s. Like I said, y'all, I do a lot of this just pulling from information, not really doing a lot of research, because I try to do it off the head to see if I still remember sneaker knowledge well, because I am older. But if I am wrong, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll definitely shout you out. Like, y'all, it doesn't hurt my feelings. But you will get the Jordan box, as you see, and the playoff 8, which I have worn. I will take those out, and you do get the trash paper. Now, when these came out, I didn't first get them. I got them later. I got them from eBay, because I know StockX has past fakes, has approved fakes, and GOAT has approved fakes. And to be honest with you, since fakes are becoming so well produced now, I wouldn't doubt it if eBay passed a fake before. Not to my knowledge, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I did get these from eBay, if you are wondering. My bad, y'all. Let me go with the box. The box does say Air Jordan 8 Retro, black, true red, white, and voila, here they are right here. Beautiful shoe, man. This was in 2007. This was my first pair of 8s that I did buy. It brings back so many memories, man. I'm getting old. 2007 was what, 18 years ago, somewhere around there. I'm not really using thinking right now, using math, but somewhere around there. So this is definitely bringing back a lot of memories, and that's why I wanted to review this shoe before the Aqua's coming out, because this is nostalgia for me, and I know it's just nostalgia for a lot of older heads or people who are older than me, because there are people who got these and who plan to get the Aquas that come out next weekend, that they did get the originals in 93. Now, speaking of 93, the originals came out in 1993. It was designed by Tinker Hatfield. First off, this was the first Air Jordan with the straps, and if you do not know, Tinker Hatfield also designed the Air Raid, which was also known for its strap, and in interviews he said he got that inspiration for them Air Raids. That's why you see these 2 straps on that shoe. He did the same shoe. If you were ever wondering, did he get any inspiration from that? He did, because even myself, I didn't know personally if he did or not, but I've always thought to myself, these 8s remind me of the Air Raids. And this shoe represents the end of Michael Jordan's first three-peat, because you got to remember, he did go against the Phoenix Suns playing this in 93 and in the playoffs, and after he won his first three-peat, he did retire. That's why these were dubbed, or a lot of people call them, the playoffs. The original OG colorways will be these, the playoffs, the Aquas, which do come out next weekend, and the Bugs Bunny. Now, out of all the 8s, my favorite would be the Aquas, because I do like the color purple, and with that black and blue, those would be my favorite of the 8s. And then second would be the playoffs and the Bugs Bunnies, which are a nice shoe. Those would be towards the bottom for me personally. Now, let's get into the detail of the shoe. As you can see, like I said, said, the straps on his shoe. This is the first time Jordans did use straps, and Tinker Hatfield's inspiration did come from those Nike Air Raids, as I stated before. And the chenille tongue on the front, a lot of people don't know this is very 90s inspired because it came from the inspiration of the Peace logo. And a lot of people don't know, who weren't around in the 90s, you saw that Peace logo around everything in the hip hop in the 90s. Think about A Tribe Called Quest. A lot of hip hop in the 90s did something based off that Peace logo. And to finish with the discussion of the shoe, you do have the inner booty, which is kind of like the inner booty that I did on the Nike Air CB294s. And you do have a padded collar around the ankle. Now, what I think about this shoe does give a lot of support, and like I said, it's heavily padded, but I would say this was probably one of the most heavier Jordans, because you gotta remember the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, the 7s. I would say the 8s will probably, from that point on, will probably be the most heaviest out of all of them. I know these 8s were heavier than the 7s because it did not have that much padding around the ankle. And when we go to around the shoe, nice leather, soft leather. Of course, the straps, you do see Air Jordan. And one of my favorite parts of the shoe is a 23, but it actually being colored. You see the 2 and the 3 outlined in red and then filled in with white. Now, one of the things I'm going to bring up in this video, and I know I'm going to bring up in the next video next week when the Aquas come out, I wish they did the same thing with the Aquas. Maybe have that 23 outlined in purple, and then and keep the 2-3 black, something like that. I wish they would have done that. Another thing that gives me a very 90s vibes about this is when you go to the bottom of the midsoles, you see the colors at the bottom. You'll have red at the top of the sole with blue down the middle, the yellow Jumpman, and then you'll have black on the heel tab, red on the heel tab, and a small version of blue. Now, it's not splattered. To me, it kind of looks like paint brushes, but either way, I still like it. And I also like it with the plate right on that midsole, which is still a clean look. One of the things that everybody knows about these Jordans is that Michael Jordan did not like these. Supposedly, these shoes gave him athlete's foot, because if you think about it, I know this shoe does have perforated holes on it. This shoe is not breathable. I haven't hooped in 8s in a long time, but I remember I had these in 07, and I also had the Aquas in 07, and I do remember hooping in those shoes and not having a lot of breathability in those shoes at all. That's honestly one of the biggest things that caused me not to really hoop in Jordans, because I don't think a lot of them are breathable anyway. That's why a lot of times I do hoop in Kobe's. But as I said before, y'all, when the 10s drop in August, I'm not really getting that as a casual shoe. I'm probably just getting that shoe to hoop in. Now, like I said, y'all, these shoes came out in 93 for $125. In 2007, they came out for $140. In 2013, they came out for $160. And in 2023, they came out for $210. And to finish with the shoe, inside I will make sure to get a close-up of the booty. Kind of a 90s expired type of design, or feel. I do get a 90s feeling looking at the inside of the sock liner of the booty. You'll see red, blue, white, and if you take out the sole of the shoe, it's just a regular black sole with the Nike Air. As you could tell, I definitely wore these a few times. One of the things a lot of people do not like, or they'll say, is the glitter around the bottom part right above the sole. Now, me personally, that doesn't bother me, and that's why I know a lot of people didn't like the Aquas that came out before the ones that are gonna come out this Saturday. But to me, at the end of the day, man, I don't care. I love these shoes. I've always loved 8s. I know a lot of people really aren't that fond of 8s, and then on top of that, a lot of people, believe it or not, I've talked to people who like 9s better than 8s. Now, I'll be honest with y'all, I don't like 9s at all, and that's no shade to anyone who buy 9s. Me personally, I just don't buy 9s because I definitely wouldn't wear them. And you know what? Hold on for 1 second. Y'all, I'm back. The reason I won't wear 9s casually, because we all know 9s are kind of like casually as seen as like a boot, like the Jordan boot. Me personally, I know they're dirty and they need to be cleaned. I much rather wear Doc Martens if I'm gonna rock boots. Just to show y'all, I do rock more than J's. But if it's winter time and boots, if I need to wear boots, I'll definitely rock some Doc Martens instead of some 9s. No offense if you rock 9s though. But yeah, that's it for this real quick video. As I said, I know these shoes are older and they came out a few years ago. Oh, you know what? My bad. Let me do the production date. The production date for these were March 1st, 2023 to May 3rd, 2023. But I know I should have did this before in the beginning of the video. As you see, I got my cement 4s and the grapes. I did do videos on both of those shoes. I'll leave those links to those videos in the description. That's it for this video. I just want to say I appreciate all the support, and I know y'all see on my channel I'm doing the NFL top 100 because NFL is around the corner. So expect fantasy sports, FanDuel, that coming up because it's almost time, and it's almost time for the football season to start. So if you want sports videos, reaction videos, morning motivation, after workout thought motivation, Sunday morning motivation to get you motivated through the week, sneaker reviews, pretty much anything, subscribe to Channel Adrian TV. And remember y'all, next week I definitely will drop the video of the aquas. And until then, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.